bit late. One of my lights. Hi, welcome in, you guys. Thank you guys for being here. Again, pardon my lateness. One of my, as you see, I have a whole different lighting setup because my Mars light decided to just completely flake on me. So I'll be at the store getting a new bitch because I don't have time for it. But I'm glad to be here today. I really thought about it and I was like, it's meant for me to be here today because we had like an eclipse, yesterday, that might still be going on today. And I know this conversation is going to be about new age spirituality and bullshit, and how a lot of it is like not, in my opinion, and just from my life experience and my research and my learning and studying, like a lot of this new age shit is like, again, fugazi. And I hear about it online all the time with this divine feminine and divine masculine. I know y'all tired of hearing that, phrase. And me too. Comment below if you're tired of hearing divine feminine, divine masculine, because I really am tired of hearing that. And so I'm just going to be talking about a couple of things that I'm noticing again with the new age foolery. Hi, welcome in, and kind of debunking some of it, and again giving you guys my knowledge on it. I'm having this live a little bit earlier than I usually do. I planned on going to a whole nother location to record, but I'm tired today. I need a break. I need to rest. I'm sure you guys who are subscribers have seen I've been putting up a lot of content lately. And again, I still work right now, so I'm just tired. Like, I just needed a day to rest and to collect my thoughts and like make time to pray and think and like really just gather myself. And again, with the eclipse coming around, that's not by accident. So I want to start off with astrology. When it comes to the new age bullshit, yes, there is something to astrology. There are patterns to it. There is truth to it. Is it all the way accurate and truthful? No. A lot of it can be very confusing depending on which chart you're using and all of that. I do believe that the Vedic chart is more accurate than the tropical chart. Just like I think Chinese astrology is a bit more accurate than like Western astrology. Sorry if the fan is loud. I'm hot. So I definitely believe that like Eastern astrology is more accurate than tropical astrology, but I don't think astrology is the end all be all. Like, I just don't. I can tell you this from experience. Like, I am Vedic, am a Leo rising, and I met somebody who's an Aquarius, and we had like a lot in common. And like his sun sign, I'm also an Aquarius moon, and his sun sign resides like in my 7th house. So I met this person and I just was like so crazy about him, and I just thought that like we were meant to be and we had all the right placements, it seemed like, and all this other stuff. And ultimately we didn't end up to be together because not everything is based off of astrology. We didn't end up together because we weren't meant to be. Like, they had other characteristics that just don't gel well. Like, again, we can have all the alignment of the sun and the moon, but if you're not hi Lord, if you're not mature and self-assured and ready, then we can have all of the alignment in the world. Like, we're just not meant to be together. So it's stuff like that. And I see this all the time. There's people online who are like, oh, like me and this person, we have these placements, and like they have these placements, and like on paper it looks like, we should get along just well, or we should be together, or like we're soulmates. And it's like, it still may not gel. Like, I don't really typically get along with Aquarius. They're like my least favorite zodiac sign. But see, then I end up meeting one who I really, really like, was crazy about. So it's, again, there are patterns, but that doesn't mean that it's, rules, and that it's always going to go a particular way based off of, again, sun and moon alignment. Let's also talk about how ain't none of us been to any of these planets or seen them for ourselves. Yes, you can look through a telescope and like you know, maybe see Venus and maybe have a, you know, a snapshot at some of these celestial bodies, but none of us, you know, the gag is these planets are underwater. You know, we're sitting in water. We're not floating through space. You know, there's waters above, waters below. So I'm going to tie in biblical stuff with this conversation about new age spirituality bullshit. None of us are going under the sea to go see about any of these celestial bodies. So we can't take, you know, again, astrology stuff as fact. And that's why in the Bible it kind of warns against astrology. And I'm not all against astrology, but I think the Bible tells us not to really get into it too much because it can easily become one's main religion of like, okay, well, the sun is going to be here. And, you know, you can try to start to play God, and you can start to turn your faith away from God if all you're focused on is celestial bodies that, you know, didn't die for you. These celestial bodies cannot offer you salvation. That's what I want you guys to take from this conversation. Is I'm not saying tarot and astrology and spirituality and intentions and affirmations. I don't think it's all bad. I just want you to understand that none of those things can offer you salvation, and that's why God doesn't really favor it. I also want you to understand that the Bible is a book that has had a lot of Freemasonic reworking and a lot of Freemasonic influence. So no, I don't think that the Bible is like end all be all. Hey, what's up, Addie? I don't think that the Bible is like end all be all. I believe that Jesus is king. I 100% believe that, but I also think that people overlook a lot of stuff in the Bible too. Again, the Bible tells us about reptilians, fallen angels, people of different bloodline. The Bible gives you the cheat code to all of the shit that's going on. The Bible tells you to watch out for a lot of shit. I'm grown, Adi, so just know that. I'm over the age of 21. I'm old enough to drink, smoke, fuck, pay taxes. I hope that's not urging you to be a creep. But the Bible, hi, welcome in, you guys. The Bible gives us so much code. So when you really start to study the Bible, you really do start to see that it does give you a lot of cheat codes for the matrix. And you just got to be able to read that. Again, they're not going to teach you the stuff about Nephilim and the giants and soulless beings and different bloodlines. And you know, they're not going to teach you about reptilians, because that's in the Bible too. If you peep the story of Adam and Eve, they're not going to teach you that in like child sacrifice with the Phoenicians and the Canaanites and Moloch and Baal. That's all in the Bible. All of the stuff that I've talked to you guys about with these rituals and these freaky ass Hollywood people, all of that is in the Bible. But the guys at church are under Freemasonic authority. So they can't necessarily teach you everything that the Bible is trying to teach you. You know, all the free game, they can't necessarily talk about that. And again, the pastors who do give you those cheat codes, a lot of them end up missing, like Stephen Darby. I think G. Craig Lewis is still alive, so, you know, shout out to him. But a lot of the people who talk about the truth, you know, again, because there's a whole system, you know, again, Satan is the god of this world. And so he runs even through the churches, and he runs and operates even the churches. That's why you have to go get your own teaching about God and Jesus to really have a real understanding. Because if you keep getting the Bible from people under Freemasonic or Satanic authority, they're only going to tell you what they want you to know and what serves the matrix and what serves the system and the agenda. So astrology, there's definitely some patterns, there's some truth to it. Is it the end all be all? No. I'm gonna allow this to chill for a second. Is it the end all be all? No. There are patterns, there are things that you can notice. You know, we live in a matrix with codes and numbers and numerology. So, you know, gematria, again, even especially as a published journalist, I have been noticed that there's something with, like, again, sounds and vowels and letters and words. Even before I learned about gematria, I was like, there's something, there's something here. I'm sorry, it's hot. So so I've noticed this. Please let me know if the fan is like too much. I'm like, should I put it? So I've noticed this. Oh, thank you. I appreciate all the love. I'm welcoming. I got more people joining. Thank you guys for being here. So there's a lot of there's numbers run this world. Numbers and vibrations, again, frequencies and frequencies and vibrations run this world. We live in a matrix built off of code. But at the end of the day, Jesus is still king. And again, I've learned this from personal experience. And again, one thing I want people to understand is all the code and numbers in the world, God is, again, the final say, and none of these things can give you salvation, because the devil tells a lot of lies. You know, the trick to get Adam and Eve to eat the apple was knowledge. And that's, again, another thing I want you guys to take from this live. Like I was saying earlier, none of this new age bullshit can give you salvation. That's the real important part to take. All of the studying numerology, and you could think that you have the magic number, and you could think that you've, again, found the code and done all the math and all of it. You can run a million numbers. God created numbers. God created everything. And so none of the numerology and the code can offer you salvation. None of it can save your soul. So just understand that. So astrology has patterns. I do think that Vedic and Chinese astrology, I do enjoy them, but are they always accurate? No, most of the time they're not. Especially for people, again, who have like a particular anointing over their life, and we're all going through such unique things, and there's so many nuances. All this stuff is not always accurate. It might be accurate, you might resonate with some of it, you know, you might not. A lot of people, more often than not, they don't, because we're all so different, and again, so unique, and we all have so many different factors affecting our lives. And these planets or these celestial bodies are not gods. They are more creations of God. Like, you know, God created these things. They are not God. They don't have a say. Saturn and the moon and, you know, Neptune and Uranus, they do not have any real power over your life. They just don't. In my opinion, they just don't. God is going to have his way in the end. So do these things, you know, may you notice that, oh, okay, like, you know, you may notice a pattern around the energy being higher around a full moon. You may notice patterns with, yes, eclipses. You may notice patterns, you know, with the energy changing, but ultimately, you know, just because they say, hey, what's up, DJ? Just because, you know, your astro, you know, and again, sometimes this shit is accurate. You're like, oh, it applies to me this time, but is it always going to apply to you? Is it always going to hit? Not necessarily, because we are all, again, we all have our own code. We all have our own destiny, our own path, and these planets are not God. Dion, what's good? Good to see you again. Thank you, DJ. People have been trying to drag me for these fucking glasses. Like, people have been dragging my hair online. They've been dragging my glasses online. Like, just, I've been definitely getting a lot of hate from trolls. And I just try to stay strong, because if they're hating on you, you're doing a great thing. I'm going to move into yeah, I mean, people are haters. Oh my gosh. Here we go with the trolls. Let me just ignore them. Let me get into some interesting and entertaining stuff, since I have more people joining. I don't want it to be too dry. Dion, since you've been here, I'm going to catch you up. I'm just telling people how astrology, there's patterns to it, but it's not you know, it's not the end all be all. These planets are not gods. They don't really have any real power over your life. And you may notice energy changes when certain planets move, because celestial bodies do have energy. Even a chemist and physicist will tell you this. You know, those planets have energy. So yes, like when they move and retrograde and all of that, like they have a vibration, they have a frequency. So yes, you may notice, you know, things in the world and things may happen to you, but um, ultimately these planets cannot save you, they cannot offer you salvation, and they are not always, the astrological readings are not always accurate, because we are all unique and we all have so many different things going on in our lives. I'm going to move on to Crowleyan age. What we're seeing with this rise in new age spirituality bullshit is nothing but Aleister Crowley. And a lot of Satanists, a lot of the work of Satanists that they've done is coming to light. So if you guys don't know, Crowley is a big Satanist, very popular Satanist, Aleister Crowley. And he is who a lot of people in the music industry and entertainment follow. People like, again, I mean, Jay-Z, Beyonce, the Do What Thou Wilt, Anton LaVey is another one. I think Taylor Swift is his daughter reincarnated or whatever, or like, because Anton LaVey's daughter looks just like Taylor Swift. Look that up. But when we see this new age bullshit, I was saying at the very beginning, everybody's talking about, oh, divine feminine, divine masculine, and in my dark feminine, and in my dark oh my gosh, like, wearing me the fuck out. Like, truly, that shit is so tiring. My divine feminine, my divine masculine. My karmic, my twin flame. Oh my gosh. A lot of it is bullshit. A lot of it is people wanting to do devilment and tap into their narcissism and not take accountability, or to justify their narcissism. That's what a lot of it is. Do I think that people can get in alignment and step into their divine energy? Yes, I do. Do I think people can be karmic lovers? I know that. I have seen it. A lot of people in my family are married to their karmic, and when you see people in really toxic relationships for a long time, there's something more to that. You know, I do believe in past lives, because energy on a metaphysical level and, you know, chemical level, and when we talk about like the real science, what did it say? Like, what matter can't be destroyed, or can't be destroyed, like it's always there. So energy is always here. So yes, I do believe that, yeah, when we die, we go to another realm, and then we reincarnate. We may come back as a different animal, we may come back as a person, we come back each time maybe in a different body, a different avatar, to do a mission. Do I believe the bullshit that we can pick our avatar, and that we pick our family, and that we pick, I don't really believe that. I just don't. I think that puts too much power in human beings' hands. And they say, oh, your memory got erased and you signed soul contracts. I don't really believe in all of that, because some people would have never fucking picked their body. So what do you mean? I don't know about that, Amon. What they lock him up for? Because y'all stay talking about some free somebody and they rob somebody grandma. Like they had somebody last night talking about some free Diddy. Leave that nigga right where he at. Oh my gosh. See what I'm saying? Trolls. Put you in timeout, bro. I do believe in semen retention, Dion. I do. Even as a woman, I do believe that, like, when you don't release, and, like, you know, because this is a thing with when you are about to climax, there's like spiritual entities around you, and if you do climax, they like feed off of that energy. So I believe that if you don't do that, like, it is better for you, and especially because there's so much. I know that there's I know that semen retention is good too, because just read the room around you, right? Like, let's talk about the world. There's so much influence. Let's talk about chakras too and tie this in. There's so much influence for young men to be sexual. There's so much influence for young women to arouse them and be sexual too. But there's like so much in the matrix that's going on all the time to push men to, you know, masturbate and to get horny. Like, the matrix wants men to rest in their root chakra, which is you know what, blood and hunger, you know, always hungry, always always horny, and always trying to get a fill. And when you live in your root chakra, you're going to find yourself like a bottomless pit. This is also going to tie into what I was saying to you guys last night about messing with your booty hole. When you start to do anal and let people start fondling your butthole, you are messing with your root chakra, which is why sometimes we see people of the LGBT community, I'm not trying to be shady, but I'm calling it like I see it. There's a habit for people of the LGBT community to, especially the men who are always messing with their butthole, always messing with their root chakra. They have a tendency to be very hypersexual and to just, you see a lot. That's part of why Diddy be doing all of that group sex. You know, you see a lot of orgies, gangbangs, group sex. You see a lot of that in gay corn and in the gay community, period, where they all want to group up in a room and like just act a fool. And that is because messing with that root chakra all the time leaves them in this energy of always hungry, always looking for a fill. And this is what was also talked about on American Horror Story, the season Red Tide. And it's you see that too with like vampires in pop culture, where and this applies to the industry too, with people with adrenochrome, and which is blood drinking. When you start to indulge in like blood magic and drinking blood and consuming blood, that stimulates root chakra. And so what do you always, once you go down that road, what do they have always going on in vampire films? The vampire always is looking for the next victim, always looking for the next fill. And usually we see this trend of vampires screwing their victims, you know, or they'll hook up with a human so they can always have somebody to screw and always have somebody to feed off of. You saw that in the show True Blood. So this very like vampiric, bloodthirsty, and sexually horny energy. And that's what rap music is meant to stimulate your root chakra. Kanye was saying this on his Drinking Champs interview about like the 808 and some of these like drums and some of these beats, especially like when I always say when I heard the song Pound Town by Sexy Red, the beat reminds me of the Michael Myers like theme song. It just kind of slowed down. And it's a song called what? Pound Town, where she's talking about her butthole and her coochie hole and everything else on her that isn't sealed up. And it's because rap music has like that addicting kick and that addicting 808 that keeps your root chakra stimulated. And that's why I always say, like, if you want to get some shit popping off at a party, you play rap music. Notice how when people gather together and they start playing rap, a fight breaks out shortly after. Especially when there's weed and alcohol involved, a fight is bound to break out because the music is full of spells as well, but it's stimulating your root chakra. And then you're drinking spirits and weed and smoke, periods, tobacco, all of that, hookah. Smoke is also a form of a spirit. And so when you let these spirits get into your body and then you have the music with the spells, it's a ritual And eventually something's going to pop off and you see people start fighting over what the fuck, nothing, because they're just under the influence or under demonic influence. So good for you though, Dion, for keeping yourself pure. I mean, I say continue to pray, and of course if you do go out and do something like you know, just be smart, you know, protection, because STDs are real and children are real too. The bills will hit your ass. Childcare is expensive. And you know what also is real is STD, spiritual diseases. You know, again, when we talk about karmics, you lay down with the wrong person, now you might have a fucking succubus attached to you. And I've helped somebody with this in the past. I have helped people with spiritual work, and I had somebody that I knew who felt like she had an incubus. She ended up having like a dream, a very, very intense and real sexual dream, and she was still like tied to somebody, I guess spiritually and sexually, and so we did like a removal like spell, like to try to help cut that cord, like a cord cutting spell to try to help her break free from that, because it's a thank you, Elliot. So you know, that's a thing. A lot of times, again, in relationships, when people just have a hard time breaking up and it's toxic, it's, again, you done laid down with somebody that's got a spirit on them, and now you can't break up with them. It's hard for you to depart from them because, you know, your emotions are involved, spirits are involved, bodily fluids have been exchanged. I mean, this shit is real. So always think about that before you want to lay down with somebody. Again, the Bible wants us to stay pure until marriage, and I'm not saying that's what you should do, because I didn't choose that. I waited till I was an adult, but I chose that person wisely, and I still, to this day, that was years ago, and I don't regret it, because I chose somebody who I was comfortable with and who I trusted. And you know, I waited until I felt like I met someone that was just the right person who I'd want to like go that step with. And I'm glad that I chose him, because he is still employed and educated, and I don't like the nigga no more, but he's not a bum and he's not on some raggedy bummy shit. So yes, divine feminine, divine masculine, karmic, twin flames. Look, a lot of it is bullshit. A lot of it is justification for narcissism. A lot of it is justification for staying in a raggedy ass situation. A lot of it is justification for abuse, especially with the twin flame shit. People are always talking about, oh yeah, my twin flame, we separated right now. Look, it's this simple with this divine masculine, divine feminine, twin flame, karmic, blah, blah, blah. If it's bringing you stress, it's not the one. It's just not the one. If they can spend one day without talking to you, if they can be separated from you by anything but, you know, work or death, they're not the one, babe. And that's some real shit. Like, you know, today I had a real sit down talk with myself, because I am going to be 30 in like a few years. In less than 5 years, I'll be 30. And I really sat down with myself and I was like, you know, I got a lot to think about, like, and I really set some boundaries today. And I was like, you know, look, these are some things I'm not going for no more. These are some things that I'm going to like start doing. And it's not really with relationships, but mainly with like work. Okay, this is what I'm not doing no more. This is what I am doing, because I'm focusing on my channel right now. I'm educated, I'm accomplished. Like, I'm in like a limbo period. A lot of people in this country are, because the job market sucks, and I'm not really trying to go back to work full time, because I'm doing this and it's growing and it's working out. I'm in alignment. But again, I had to put my foot down with some things. And as you get older, even in relationships, because even work is a relationship, you put your foot down with certain things and you're like, okay, no more of this. And when I was telling you guys about like somebody I had met who I really liked, I had to just put my foot down, like, look, you're either in love or not. And if you're in love, you act in love. If you're in love, you can't not act in love. If somebody cheats on you, they're just not in love. So you shouldn't put up with it. You shouldn't condone it. You shouldn't, like, no. If someone is, they're either in love or not. And that's the fucking end all be all when it comes to the divine feminines and divine connection and karmic and twin flame, blah, blah, blah. They're either in love or not. If it's not requited love, they're not in love, you gotta move on. Because when somebody is in love, they only see the person in front of them, the person that they're in love with. When someone is in love, they do not fuck around, they do not waste time, they do not allow for another person to swoop in, they do not cheat, they don't want to cheat. When someone's in love, they don't even think about another person. And this is coming from men and women, because part of this new age bullshit, and this is a government program too with black people, with all of this, and not even just with black people, but with people period, but the black community definitely has a particular vested interest over it when it comes to relationships, with all of this, you know, what we going for and what we ain't, and dates and all of this, blah, blah, blah. When someone is in love with you and when you're in love with them, there's going to be no bullshit. No drama, no bullshit. Their family, they will go against their own fucking mama if they are really in love with you. And they will, again, they will hop to it. There will be no excuses. There will be no wait. It'll just be king troll. I mentioned how I think it's a good thing, because there are spirits that roam around us that seek to feed off of our energy through releasing of bodily fluids. But again, when someone's in love, they don't even like see anyone else. You know, it doesn't mean that they can't find somebody else attractive, but when they're in love, when you're in love, the person who you're in love with is always on your mind. You know, so unless you have to go away for work so that you can provide for you and your lover, or unless you two die, or one of you dies, and even in death, you know, if one of you dies, again, the other person is like forever changed, and they never forget you, and they never stop missing you. So when you're really in love, all of the conversation about, you know, oh, me and my twin flame just have to be apart, and, you know, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's sometimes things take time. Sometimes, you know, people have to like come apart and come back together. I get it with timing, but, you know, again, ultimately you're either in love or not. And if it's real love, then it will come back, because it can't go without being each other for too long. Yes, king troll, there are definitely, you're surrounded by spirits all day, all the time. So that's my 2 cents on, again, divine connections. It's either divine or it's bullshit. Seriously. And again, if they're really in love with you and you're really in love with them, it'll be paradise and peace and harmony. And I understand how sometimes relationships are not always, you know, it's not always, you have a lot of chaos around you sometimes. Because when two people are in love, let's talk about the demons. When 2 people are in love, demons hate that shit. Demons are like, not these niggas being in love, not them trying to find happiness in this dirty ass hellhole. And there will be demons who will try to who will enter people's bodies so that they can try to tempt one of the people, you know, or manipulate them to break them up, because, you know, happy hoes ain't hating and hating hoes ain't happy. So understand that when 2 people are in love, their union will constantly be tested by demons, because they hate that shit, and they will try to manipulate or tempt the people to break up. That's what you saw in the movie Dracula, Bram Stoker's Dracula, and we saw that also in Romeo and Juliet. They ended up dead due to interference. Dracula and Mina and Bram Stoker's, he ended up a vampire on the dark side, and Mina ended up dead due to demonic interference. So that's why people say at weddings, you know, what God brought together, let no man tear apart, because, and really what they mean to say is let no man be influenced by demons to try to tear us apart. Don't let Satan get in the middle. That's why it's important for 2 people who, again, who feel like they're in love with each other. They need God in that union, to keep that union together, because God does bring people together. And Satan, his whole goal is to tear them apart, because he hates to see you happy. I want to move into also everybody's talking about some damn motherfucking witch. In this new age, everybody think that they're a healer. Everybody think that they motherfucking chosen. Everybody talking about they a witch and they a worker and they a light worker and a star seed and an indigo child, and oh my gosh, it is so draining. It is so draining. Let everybody tell it. They're a spiritual worker, a root worker. Like, it's so many frauds. And it's so much bullshit with that. And, you know, some people do have spiritual gifts. Some people do. You know, I've met a few. I believe that I have some gifts, but I do not overstate my gifts. You know, I don't. Absolutely not. And I'm not that person who's like, again, I need to be just going really, really far with some of this shit, some of the spiritual work, and oh, you know, let me again do a spell for this and that and blah blah blah. A lot of these spiritual workers, and again the Bible warns about them, because a lot of them are just fucking scammers. You know, these are the same bitches who used to sell Avon back in the day, or these are the same hoes who used to sell Herbalife. They just on to their next scam. So a lot of spiritual workers, especially any hoe, talking about I mean, shit, they got so many fake religions. Again, Santeria, a lot of the hoodoo shit is bullshit. You know, voodoo is a real religion, but it's nothing but demonic shit. So it's a lot of just it's a lot of demon worship on the low, and it's a lot of hoe shit. Again, there are people who truly do have spiritual gifts by God, people who are actual prophets, people who really do have dreams. There are people who, again, God has given the gift of sight to really see shit and to know shit and have foresight and all of that. But a lot of these hoes is fugazi. We think about Islam. I respect Islam, but I'm not Islam. I follow Christ, period. And that's it. I respect them, but I follow Christ. I respect how they, you know, go hard for God, but Jesus is king. So everybody's talking about some they a witch. Just ratchet and ridiculous. And again, Crowley, Aleister Crowley and his Crowley and magic has really set the tone for this new age enlightenment, new age spirituality bullshit. Jesus is God's son. I know Islam refers to Jesus as a prophet. I don't see Jesus as just a prophet. To an extent, yes, he's a prophet, but do I think he's God? No. People get that mixed up all the time. Jesus is God. Jesus is not God. Jesus is the Son of God. And he's a prophet, but he's also the Savior. Could two things be true? Yeah, in my opinion. And I think according to the Bible too, there's Jesus in the Bible healing people and telling them what's going to happen, and, you know, predicting things and doing all types of things that we align with people who are prophets. Again, prophets are people who are gifted people. That you don't believe in Trinity. Trinity is supposed to be, okay, that's what you believe. You believe that he's not the Son of God. I believe, like the Bible said, that Jesus is God's son, period. We're not about to argue about that, because that's in the book, and that's what I believe, and I'm not challenging you all believe. The Holy Trinity, God, Son, Holy Spirit, I don't understand that. I just never have. It doesn't make sense to me. I'm not going to lie to you. Even as a Christian, I don't believe, I told you guys at the beginning of this live, everything in the book, I don't believe, because it's been dealt with by Freemasonic entities. But I believe that there's Father God and that there is his son, period. Okay. Thank you, Andrew. Shout out to you. The people who are in here, if you come in here and challenge my faith, I'm gonna get you out of here, because I already told you guys I respect your faith. I'm not coming up against Muhammad. You're not about to come against Jesus on this live. Like, we not doing that. It's got to be mutual respect. That's right. See your way out of here. If you're gonna come up in here and try to argue me down, you can really get your ass on for real. Oh, good. And y'all, and I know that y'all do, but y'all don't worship Jesus. And I'm telling you that I do. And yes, he is. Amen, Andrew. He is good all the time. I'm telling you that I worship Jesus because he is God's son and Jesus is the way to salvation, period. I do not come against Muhammad. I do not speak ill of him. I don't try to change your mind on Muhammad because somebody is they got people in my comments trying to challenge Christian beliefs. And I'm telling them that I respect Islam. I just believe that Jesus is God's son, and they're trying to argue me about that, and I'm not here for it. Moving on, because they got people in here. They got people in here trying to distract from the mission. So when it comes to all of this, again, new age bullshit and this Crowley and magic. Crowley, hey, what's up, Lexi? Crowley, again, is a big satanic figure who has done a lot of magic to go to satanic entities, fallen gods, to get power to influence the world today. And so when you see this rise in new age spirituality bullshit and everybody wants to be a witch and tarot and, again, divine feminine, divine masculine, and everybody's a healer, everybody's a star seed and all this other shit, that is Crowleyan magic come into fruition. So that's all that is. Yes, Andrew, Crowleyan magic. Because let's talk about magic real quick as I get into that. Magic is very real. If we're talking about Jesus and him being a prophet, Jesus worked a lot of magic and miracles in the Bible, turning water into wine, turning this, I know, like even Moses, another prophet. There's a scene in the film Prince of Egypt where his staff turns into like a snake or something. You know, there's a lot of miracles and healing and magic that happens all in the Bible. And then there's the magic of the dark side, which involves blood and sex and kids and sacrifice and all this creepy shit. And bodily fluids and just like the craziness. So at the end of the day, if we're talking about magic, humans do not have the power to get shit popping on their own. Humans have to get their power from either the light side or the dark side. All of the prophets in the Bible who were working miracles and healing people and all of those people, they got their power from God. They were anointed by God. Just like the people who in Hollywood and in entertainment industry who sacrificing kids and touching people up the butt and doing all this weird shit, they're getting their power through the dark side, through satanic entities and fallen angels. So humans only have, thank you, Saudi. Humans only have so much power. Humans have the power of choice. When we talk about, oh, do we have free will? We do. To an extent, we do. We have the power every day to make choices. God speaks to us all the time. It's just if we're listening. Just like Satan is constantly, like when you know in cartoons, they have the devil on one shoulder and God on the other shoulder. That is our everyday life. There's always this opposition to try to, pull you, onto the dark side, and there's always God, like, okay, trying to guide you in the path that, you need to be on, because you're here for a purpose, you're here for a reason. If you've incarnated into this planet, and that's a whole nother conversation, because let's talk about that real quick. Not all of us are here by God's will. Again, last night I told you guys, there are some of us who God wanted here to do a particular mission, and then there are some of us who were here because Satan wanted us here to do a particular mission. Satan has his children, God has his children. This is why at the end of our lives, sometimes God tells people, I never knew you. And it's not him being shady. It's, I did not create you. You did not come from up here. I don't know who the fuck you are. Like, I didn't make you. I don't know you. Some of these people, God does not know. I told you guys last night, clones and NPCs and soulless beings and bots and agent Smiths walk among us. They are Satan's children. Satan has his own bloodline of people, and God has his own bloodline. And there's always this war, because Satan, again, as I was explaining to you guys, always wants to one-up God, and he always still, even though he's fallen and defeated, he still wants to one-up God. So he's constantly, especially with God's people, he gives them the most opposition, because he wants to one-up God and say, I got one of your kids. I took him. I got him. You know, I got him on my side. I successfully manipulated them or abused them enough to get them on my side. And so there's a line in a Rick Ross and Jay-Z song, actually, called The Devil Is a Lie. And Rick Ross says, opposition wants me dead or alive. Fact. Satan wants you, especially when you're anointed by God and God has you here for a reason and a mission. He will take you dead or alive. Doesn't give a fuck. Because he just wants to, it's a score that he wants to be able to settle or one up. So there's really people here who are bots. If you are a divine being and really sent here by God, then yes, there's always like this pull. Satan is always trying to manipulate you to go one way, and God is always trying to speak to you with reason and logic and speak to your higher self to get you to go the other way. So there is always this push and pull going on. But right now, yes, we have like this big Crowleyan era in false enlightenment. And that's talked about again in the Bible, where again, demons and Satan appear to be so beautiful. And, you know, all of this light, all of this enlightenment can be blinding. And that's what's going on now with everybody on this new age spirituality bullshit, everybody on this faux enlightenment. It's a lot of people who are working under the spirit of confusion. They don't know their head from their ass. They don't know the truth from the lies. There's a lot of truth with the new age. There's a lot of truth in affirmations and, you know, you are what you speak, and watch your words and speak things into fruition. And there's a lot of truth with, again, especially with words and vibrations and this metaphysical science, a lot of truth in it. But again, the big lie is that all of that shit can save you. The big lie is that that should be your God and not God the Father and his Son. Again, these are my beliefs. You don't have to believe in these things, but I'm just telling you from my perspective. So, but at the end of the day, whether you believe in Jesus or not, you cannot deny that this world has spiritual forces in it. And again, you can be on the dark side, because Freemasons are very spiritual people, very spiritual. They just are on the dark side. It's not that they don't believe in God. They believe in God. They just think that God is their opposition. And, you know, again, fallen angels know God is real. They used to live in heaven with God, but they just want to oppose God. So the people who live under the lie that, oh, there is no God and there is no Satan, lost and turned out. And that's how the devil likes it. Because when you don't believe in anything, you will fall for anything. He can sell you any lie. When you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. So Satan loves a good dumbass who believes that, oh, we just living in a motherfucking game of Candyland. We just out here walking around in fucking Lazy Town. Remember that show? Right. I want to talk about, okay, I'm about to get you off my live because you tripping and you refuse to leave me alone with this bullshit. Like, you can really get the fuck out of here. And I really hate to use that kind of language. I don't like to kick y'all out so rude. I really try to really watch my language with y'all, and I try not to like really do the most. But again, I have to remind you guys, this is my life, and we talking about God. We not doing that, because again, you clearly a bot sent to try to distract from the goal and the mission here, which is to really spread the truth. And every time I start speaking the truth, here come the bots. I keep telling y'all, spirits are all around us. The movie The Matrix was a documentary talking about how Agent Smith really jumped into people so quick to do his work. Thank you, Dion. Glad you're still here. Okay. You can get out my live too. Because I'm grown, babe. You can really go. I'm grown. And if you're not grown, and if your parents don't want you hearing certain words, or if you're not comfortable with me being grown and talking like an adult, you can get up out of here too. Y'all come up in this live and y'all do the most. I'll keep saying that, like night after night. Please comment if there's something that you guys want me to touch on that I'm not touching on. I want to go ahead and move into what's up? Pinoid 313. Hello. I want to talk about the rise of AI. Yes, and Project Bluebeam. That's gonna be the real shit that pop off. So with AI is here to continue to make people worship technology, to continue to dumb people down, to continue to weaken people. AI is here to do a job. Satan, reptilian energy. Let me touch on that real quick, because I'm gonna tie that into AI. So in the Bible, if you didn't catch it, after Satan successfully manipulated Adam and Eve, God cursed the serpent to crawl on its belly, which means before snakes used to crawl, them hoes used to walk. Reptilians. So when people talk about reptilians, they're not just reaching into their ass and pulling out information. Like, that's not just some bullshit. It's not. The Bible tells you, and again, that's why you have to really read the Bible. Like, when you really want to learn, you have to read the Bible. And I encourage people to read metaphysical books too, that talk about, again, frequencies and vibrations as well. But you have to really read the Bible, because the Bible is talking in code. The Bible is a book of code. There's so much code that goes over people's heads because they're just reading for face value, when the Bible is so deeply layered. Again, there are people out here who go to church every Sunday and do not believe that we are sitting in water. There are people who go to church every Sunday and do not believe in reptilians. They think it's, oh, they're conspiracy theorists. The Bible talks about it. Snakes used to walk before they were cursed to crawl on their belly. So a reptilian entity walked up to Eve and manipulated her. Now, snakes, reptilians, cold-blooded creatures are known to be cunning and intelligent. So intelligence, high intelligence, a lot of that does come from Satan. And when we see, again, this rise in technology, that is all Satan's doing. It is. Again, it's to weaken you. We know that our phones can read our thoughts at this point, because it's extracting energy from right here, that third eye chakra. As you use your eye chakras to look at your phone, there's this space right here that is constantly, see what I'm saying? And that's why they had to make phones more powerful, because now phones are computers in your hand. And before, when we just had desktop computers, now, which even they, again, drain your chakras and your energy. Now, if you can walk around with the phone up to your ear and to your mouth, and you're looking at a phone all day, it's extracting energy, which is why the next step is to put those like big ass like Oculus things over your eyes. And like Mark Zuckerberg is making like the Ray-Ban Meta glasses and the Google glasses. Now they want to put thank you, Cal. Now they want to like get it to where they can just, oh, let me just put, oh, like the Apple Vision Pro. Now they want to get it to where you can put the computer directly over your eye. You don't need to put no computer over your goddamn eyes. You're looking at a computer all day. When you go to these jobs and you sit at a desk and you know, doing all of this whack ass desk work, and again, you on the phone scrolling, you look at a computer in blue light so much. You don't need no fucking glasses over your eyes, as if you don't look at shit enough. But it's to truly drain the shit out of you, because they have to extract as much energy from you as possible to pull off the metaverse. And what is the metaverse about? The metaverse is about completely submersing you into a whole different reality. We already live in a VR world. Catch that. We already live, like the Matrix was talking about this. We already live around a bunch of bots and PCs and fake people. Like, we don't need to be submersed another level, but they need to drain you of all of your energy so they can pop off the next level of new age deception, which is you really don't know what's real, what's fake, because you live in an entirely fake metaverse. And they need to drain your energy to pull it off. Find Jesus. You can find your way out my life. Y'all do too much. Right. Physical virtual reality. So there is a big, you know, agenda behind this AI shit. Again, the movie The Matrix was talking about how people essentially live in pods where they're used as like human batteries, again, to drain them to fuel the Matrix. And that's what's really happening. Us going to work every day, going to school, and again, school is necessary, but we know that, you know, the school, you know, that most people are going to is just a part of a matrix to dumb them down and indoctrinate them into a way of life and a way of thinking. Okay, I don't take that as shade. So yes, we already are, by acting how they want us to act and doing what they want us to do, we already live in a level of the matrix. And there are still people who are not living in the matrix, like, again, people who do agriculture, and again, the people who do like real labor jobs. You know, they still are very in touch with nature and reality. So they want to be able to replace as many people as they can to get even more people to fuel this metaverse and this VR world and this weird shit. So let's talk about, again, Rise of AI, Project Bluebeam. So Project Bluebeam is a stunt that the powers that be want to pull to convince people that aliens are our creators. Project Bluebeam will entail this false coming down of like alien beings, or like a UFO coming down and like, oh my gosh, you know, there's a UFO and like there's like aliens are here. That's why they keep showing you year after year more imagery, especially at like the VMAs, because it's easy to manipulate young people, right? Who watches the VMAs? Young people. They keep showing you like, you know, what, Sabrina Carpenter kissing an alien and all of this. You know, you see a lot of UFO imagery in music videos and movies about, you know, UFOs, and movies about entities, otherworldly entities, because they're trying to condition your subconscious mind to accept other entities. You know, they want you to accept this. They want to get you prepped for this. So that's what that's all about. And it'll be false gods, and many people will fall for it, because that's part of why like they're experimenting with like hologram or like holograph technology to pull off this stunt to make it look just so real. Kind of like they say like 9/11 was tied in with like Project Paperclip. You know, it just was a stunt, and they can make a lot of stuff look so real. And so people will definitely be under the spell, and they will continue to be deceived. Again, with AI taking jobs and AI on the rise, people again will grow weaker, more dependent on it. They got kids right now who can't spell, and who again, they're not teaching nothing in school these days except gender identity. It's all a part of a psyop. It's part of a psyop. There's a plan to make people nothing, because if you I have more trolls. When you are not a woman or a man, then what are you? You know, you eventually become nothing. You know, you're just a figment of your own imagination. And somebody pointed out how even in the Bible, demons used to refer to themselves as they and them. They didn't go by gender. Hey, what's up, Milo? Good to see you again. Ali, what's up? So just watch out for that with this whole, you know, this generation of and another agenda is to turn everybody into like these Baphomets. You see it in fashion with like the sheep shoes and like the Margiela shoes, like the tabby Margiela shoes with like the hoofed feet. That's going on a lot in fashion to condition people to just turn themselves into little goats and little Baphomets. And again, if you don't have a peen or a cooch, then you're just some like random creation. You're not even like a real human anymore, a real person anymore. You're just a shell of your former self. But see, didn't I say again, a big part of this agenda is to hollow you out. Is to hollow you out. If you don't have your genitals and you are a he, she, and you, I don't know what I'm going to do with you right now. But when it comes to, you know, all of this surgery and reassignment and taking of hormones, and you know, people's minds are so bent and as to who they are and who they were meant to be and all of this, you know, again, that hollows you out, because you know you got boobs, but you also got a peen, but you've also decided that you didn't want to transition anymore, but you got all the work done. See what I'm saying? Like you become just again under the influence of just so much confusion. Galu, you can Finau, hey, what's up? If y'all have something to say, okay, I gotta get rid of you, because some of y'all do too much. You come on here and you're just trolling and botting. So this is what I'm seeing with this new age deception and people with all of this gender stuff. And again, it's got people's minds. It's a distraction, really. And the medical industry is in on it, as many people have realized. The medical industry is looking for forever patients. And so as more people, again, rediscover herbal medicine and home remedies and how to heal themselves, the medical industry, right, they are confused mentally, they're broken, yes, they don't know what's going on, but they're under satanic control because they don't know who they are not in touch with God, like they're just completely lost, and again, they're mutilating themselves, and they're becoming little Baphomets. In the medical industry, which symbol what is like the two snakes, right? The medical industry is all too happy to cut on them and mutilate them and stuff and tough them like fucking turduckens and couches, because they're a walking check, and it keeps them making money. But it also just keeps people again distracted, and it feeds into narcissism and mental illness, which is narcissism is mental illness, because when you're so focused on who you are today and who you identify as and who you want to be this moment, and you know you identify as that, and then you want other people to parlay with you in your mental illness, again, you've made the entire world about you. Everybody is supposed to, you know, figure out who you are and relearn who you are. And everybody is supposed to partake in the lie with you that you are a woman when you're really a man, or that you're a man when you're really a woman. You want people to deceive themselves and call you ma'am when you're a sir. You want people to, again, partake in the lie. You want people to feed into your bullshit and your narcissism and your mental illness. That's what that's all about. Seriously, it's pure fuckery on the highest level. And again, if you pay attention to fashion, fashion is definitely pushing the Baphomet agenda with, again, hoofed shoes. There's a designer named Margiela who has like these tabby shoes, and there's other designers too releasing, again, like sheep shoes and like just shoes with like hair on them that mimic goat feet. So, you know what I mean? And there's like, you know what, like masks are becoming really popular in fashion, full-on face mask. And then we see spirit cooking being pushed in fashion, that brand Schiaparelli. And if you look at some of their designs, they have like ears and noses and, you know, whole heads as handbags. That's pushing spirit cooking and, you know, demonic agendas. So the fashion industry is highly satanic. And when you dress up, that's a ritual too. When you dress up in these demonic outfits, you are doing a ritual and, again, pushing the agenda and, you know, dressing yourself like demons. I mean, that's what we see that in Halloween, when people put on, you know, costumes to dress up as demons and mimic them and emulate them. That's a ritual in itself. So I just am seeing that head purse is crazy. Yes, it is. There's this brand called Schiaparelli, spelled like Schiapp. I think Arelli. The Met Gala. Yes, Dion. Thank you. Shout out to Dion. Yes, when we see the Met Gala, we see a lot of channeling of demonic agendas and demonic influence at the Met Gala, where the top designers, who've of course taken an oath, come together and dress celebrities, puppets, in clothes, because they want those puppets to, again, push the agenda, push the message, and to make this seem like, hey, on impressionable youth, you know, dress like this, it's cool. Wear this designer, you know, he's hot. And people a lot of times don't even know what the hell they pushing, or you know, what they're really representing. So let me know if you guys have anything else to add. I mean, I feel like I'm at the end of the talk. Again, I just wanted to really point out a lot of stuff with this new age spirituality shit. It's just a lot of lost people. It's one thing I can really tell you to wrap this up. It's a lot of lost people who don't know what they believe in. You know, it's a lot of cognitive dissonance. It's a lot of people who believe two opposing beliefs at the same time. You know, it's like, again, that Jesus and God, that like the Holy Trinity. Let's talk about that. In Catholicism, that pushes cognitive dissonance, believing that one God is split up into three different entities. Like, that doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense, and it pushes cognitive dissonance. You know, when we see Catholics who chant and burn candles and incantations and speaking in Latin and burning sage and like doing all of these like things that the Bible is against, and they call themselves Christian, babe, you're not Christian, you're Catholic. But to be Catholic and to also believe that you are a follower of Christ is cognitive dissonance, because you can't be Catholic and follow Christ. I know that's going to offend some people in here, but I'm going to call out the truth. Cognitive dissonance. It's a thing. And so we have that big time, you know, we have that big time going on right now, again, with, but especially again with this gender identity shit. A lot of that is cognitive dissonance. You know, you're a woman, but you got a penis, and, you know, you have rights, and but you don't have a period, and like, oh my gosh, like just cognitive dissonance bullshit. But they have to push this, because if you're able to be manipulated to that level, then you will surely be susceptible to believing that aliens created you. So just peep, all of this stuff with this new age is like the lube or the baby oil that Diddy was using to warm people up to a good screwing. When, or if you can make people, right, Catholicism is all about spell casting and witchcraft and all of that. So, you know, it is. It's not following Jesus. But when, if you can manipulate somebody to believe that a woman can have a penis and that women are not born women, but they're like made women, and there's like cisgendered, and there's like, if you can manipulate somebody to that extent, you are priming them up to believe that aliens created them. That's what this is all about. And if you've already cut your peen off, and you've already cut your titties off, and you've already got a clay coochie, then you will damn sure go put on some damn goat hooves and go stick some horns in your head, because you know you've already gone so far. You're already down to be mutilated and chopped and screwed. It's nothing to go one more step and go get some more work done, and the medical industry will be right there to help you do it. So that's what the whole goal of this new age spirituality bullshit is for: to enslave people, to make people proudly worship fallen angels, to warm people up to the Antichrist. Let's talk about that, because that's the real final trick, is the Antichrist. And to, if you want to get people again to proudly and happily believe that this is a good guy, and that his mission and message is good, and that, you know, right, with that too, God is the woman, and the belief in Lilith and worshiping Lilith, and you know what I mean, like them pushing this narrative, these false narratives, is priming people to be susceptible to the Antichrist and Project Bluebeam, and aliens are their creators. And you know, because again, that's what Satan really wants, is people to worship him and over God. And so if he can, he has to do that through manipulation. And so the goal is to manipulate you slowly, so that if you believe one lie, you'll believe two lies, you'll believe three lies, and you'll believe even more and more and more bullshit, until the point that you are all out a proud worshiper of Satan and you don't even know it, because you're so deceived, and you've been deceived for so long, and you've, you know, cozied up to the bullshit for so long. So that's my 2 cents on that. I thank you all for sticking through, riding with me through the different lighting and earlier time, and through trolls all throughout the chat. Thank you guys for commenting, sticking with me, showing up again. Thank you, Dion, for being so faithful. Milo for being so faithful. I appreciate you guys being here. And I will be planning my next live probably for Friday or Saturday. And I'm gonna come up with some topics. But I'm about to go have dinner and call it a night. But again, I just thank you guys for your presence and your support, and I'm wishing everybody a great evening. If you guys have any suggestions for my next live, please comment on my channel somewhere. I will get the notification, and I will happily oblige to mention your request. And other than that, again, wishing you guys a great evening, and thank you again. Bye.